Senator Lai.
Senator Delima is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning again to everyone. As I said, I was supposed to ask on the same point raised by the good chair on the threshold of evidence, because we all know the various types of threshold of evidence. Yung mga binanggit niyo po kanina, proof beyond reasonable doubt, substantial evidence, probable cause, preponderance of evidence, and I think there's also prima facie evidence, correct? And now we're trying to determine here what should be the proper and desirable threshold of evidence.
That's right,
Correct.
Madam
It's
Senator.
not really it's not an easy task, actually. Because, okay, walang problema sa proof beyond reasonable doubt for purposes of conviction pag nasa korte na. Meron din ho ngayon ongoing debate on the required threshold of evidence at the preliminary investigation stage. And I think you guys know that, particularly Senior State Prosecutor Fadulyon, Richard, na there is an ongoing debate, nandun pa po ako, ganyan ho ang pinag-iisipan natin o namin. Shall we raise the threshold of probable cause at the level of preliminary investigation? In fact, in the new criminal code that we are proposing, we have submitted a draft new criminal code last Congress, and I intend to refile that this Congress. We are proposing there the elevation or the increase of the present threshold of probable cause to something higher. We're talking here about the preliminary investigation. We're not just talking about the proposed amendments to the anti-wire tapping law. So would you agree? May I know the position of the good Secretary of Justice now as to whether he agrees with that proposal to increase the threshold of probable cause to something higher in between probable cause and proof beyond reasonable doubt. Of course, it cannot be proof beyond reasonable doubt. Baka wala na ho magpa-file ng kaso sa preliminary investigation level pa lang dahil mahihirapan ang pag-prove. But it should be something higher para naman hindi rin naaabuso ang pagpa-file ng kaso na medyo mababa ang threshold o kaya para kasi the way I see it, the assessment of why there is poor performance generally in terms of conviction, although depende ho kasi sa mga kaso, may mga kaso mataas ang conviction rate, meron din mababa, especially drugs cases. Pag probable cause lang ho kasi, sometimes may tendency kasi na after the preliminary investigation stage, tatamarin na yung mga investigador, tatamarin na yung mga prosecutor na kumuha pa ng more evidence, mag-case build up pa para ma-achieve yung proof beyond reasonable doubt. Right? Pero kung sa PI level pa lang, taasan na natin ng konti, hindi na malayo yung hahabulin na threshold on the proof beyond reasonable doubt for conviction purposes. So may I know your position on that before we tackle anti-wire tapping?
Before you respond, Secretary, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the billionaire in the House, Senator Manny Pacquiao. Please respond.
Please proceed, Secretary.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Madam Senator Delima. Actually, I could not yet think of what is that quantum evidence between beyond reasonable doubt and probable cause.
What is higher po? What is higher? Probable cause or prima facie? May I know the answer of Secretary Aguirre? Aguirre, hindi po ito recitation. Miss ko lang yung pagka-professor ko.
Mas mataas pa po ata yung probable cause kaysa rin sa prima facie evidence. Kaya at this moment, I could not yet give my personal opinion about this matter because I've yet to know ano ba itong threshold ng below beyond reasonable doubt, but higher than probable cause.
May I ask also, Senior Deputy State Prosecutor Fadulion, what is your stand on the matter? Are you in favor of trying to increase the probable cause threshold to something a little bit higher, but less than proof beyond reasonable doubt?
Yes. Good morning, Madam Senator. Well, like my boss, Secretary of Justice, we have to weigh things very carefully, because if at present the threshold is probable cause, the realities are that our police officers, our law enforcers are having difficulty already trying to reach that quantum of evidence. If we raise the bar, yes, we limit the cases that will be filed, but it makes it more difficult for our law enforcement to be able to deliver and file the cases that they need to file. On the other hand, you are correct, Madam Senator, when you said that by increasing the bar, increasing the threshold now, it would bring it closer to proof beyond reasonable doubt. But then again, when it reaches the court, anything which falls short of proof beyond reasonable doubt will still result to an acquittal. So it's really a matter of trying to balance both, where we can make sure that law enforcement will be able to still do their job, not make it difficult for them, but at the same time ensure that we are still able to get the evidence that we need to secure a conviction.
Okay, so if there is no higher threshold than the probable cause that can be thought of, to remedy the situation, well, I think the best remedy, of course, is that both the law enforcers and the prosecutors should really take earnest efforts in doing case build-up of cases when these cases are filed with the courts, correct? It can be either the good secretary or...
Sorry. Actually, I could even go further than that. We should assign prosecutors, as they are doing in the United States, even during the police build-up a case.
Oh, that's you, Secretary Aguirre, because there is another bill that that was filed during the last Congress, and I think I already refiled it, and if I have not refiled it yet, I intend to refile it, the criminal investigation bill, where I think the scenario that you are thinking of is contemplated in that. The criminal investigation bill, where both prosecutors and law enforcers would work hand in hand as early as the gathering of evidence, as early as the case build-up stage. So that seems acceptable to you, such a proposition?
Very acceptable to us.
Thank you so much. We'll have another hearing on that. When that bill of mine is taken up in my committee, then I will certainly invite you as a key resource speaker. Thank you very much. Next point. Now let's go, please.
I have a question, clarificatory question, Madam Senator. Kung ganun ang situation, yung prosecutor is with the law enforcement agent in building up the case, paano siya maging objective pag napunta sa prosecutor's office yung case to establish probable cause prior to the filing of information? So, kasi part siya noong build-up ng evidence, pag build-up ng evidence, baka hindi siya maging objective.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is addressed actually in my proposed bill. But I don't want to impose on the time of this committee to really discuss it, but may I just assure Senator Lacson that that is actually addressed in my proposed bill. Although, if the mechanics that is proposed in that bill is not acceptable or may not pass, maybe at the committee level or at the plenary level, the simple answer to that reservation is that you assign different prosecutors in the case build-up stage, and I used to do that already during my time. Whenever I created task forces, I made sure that prosecutors had those task forces assisted by investigators, most of the time from the NBI and sometimes even from the PNP. Pag may kaso na po, tapos na po yung fact-finding investigation, including the case build-up, at i-file na sa DOJ for preliminary investigation, then pwede naman hong nag-a-assign ng iba ng prosecutor so that the element of objectivity for purposes of determination of probable cause is met or is assured. Yun po ang isang practical solution kung yung pinaka-mechanics na pinapropose ko po dyan sa criminal investigation bill ay hindi masusunod.
Wala naman po akong disagreement doon. Alam niyo, share ko lang yung experience namin nung nasa task force sa Bagat ako. We were running after kidnappers. Mas mabuti nga yun because there were prosecutors assigned. I think si Attorney Dong was also detailed. You know? Lahat ng huli namin yun talaga kulong. Sa kanila rin namin ni-inquest eh.
Correct. Kaya nga po, I truly believe na kapag sa case build-up pa lang nandyan na yung prosecutor, mas higher ang chance of success. Dahil alam ho ng prosecutors kung anong klaseng ebidensya ang kailangan, kung anong mga ebidensya ang admissible para pumasa po not only at the preliminary investigation stage, but most importantly, at the trial stage. So anyway, we have a time for that, for the criminal investigation bill. Ganyan ho ang pinag-iisipan natin o namin. Shall we raise the threshold of probable cause at the level of preliminary investigation? In fact, in the new criminal code that we are proposing, we have submitted a draft new criminal code last Congress, and I intend to cause preponderance of evidence, and I think there's also prima facie evidence, correct? And now we're trying to determine here what should be the proper and desirable threshold of evidence.
That's right,
Correct.
Madam
It's
Senator.
not really it's not an easy task, actually. Because, okay, walang problema sa proof beyond reasonable doubt for purposes of conviction pag nasa korte na. Meron din ho ngayon ongoing debate on the required threshold of evidence at the preliminary investigation stage. And I think you guys know that, particularly Senior State Prosecutor Fadulyon, Richard, na there is an ongoing debate. Nandun pa po ako.
Senator Delima is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning again to everyone. As I said, I was supposed to ask on the same point raised by the good chair on the threshold of evidence, because we all know the various types of threshold of evidence. Yung mga binanggit niyo po kanina, proof beyond reasonable doubt, substantial evidence, probable. File that this Congress. We are proposing there the elevation or the increase of the present threshold of probable cause to something higher. We're talking here about the preliminary investigation. We're not just talking about the proposed amendments to the anti-wire tapping law. So would you agree